sometimes you do need somebody who has a respectful but outside perspective. And like Lucci, this sort of, nobody took this guy seriously. People don't take this repertoire serious. There's a bunch of bear handlers. How could they possibly have anything interesting musically? And I'm like, but I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
Look at this. This is Jewish music. Look at this. This is amazing, you know. And so so I have another thing. There's a guy named Courbet, and he was perceived to be a real sort of shady figure in Moldova in the 50s. He became the director of the Joc Ensemble. The Joc Ensemble is the big folklore ensemble. These big state orchestras, and they tour around. In communist times, they got to go places. Very cool thing. It's a very prestigious position. He became the director of this. And he wrote all of these books. He wrote a bunch of folklore books. And people were like, yeah, but he doesn't know how to play music, and he definitely doesn't know how to write music. So like, you know, and then there were people who would say to me also, like, they would say to us, well, right, but we looked at those books, and he just took out tunes from Romanian publications that people in Moldova didn't have access to. He just lifted tunes and just put them into his book so he could have more books, right? He's not serious. And I'm like, okay, fine. So, but I still have the book, and I'm going through it, and I'm like, this is weird. What are these tunes from 1942 that he's collecting? He's collecting in 1944. That's weird. This is not from Courbet, so this tune I'm going to play is not from Courbet, but he has a bunch of tunes collected in 1944, 1945, 1946, 1947, from people called Cosma Courbet, his same last name as him, from Orhei, from Suslan, a village of Suslan outside of Orhei. Orhei was a very big Jewish town. And by the way, what is he doing collecting folk tunes in the middle of the war? He was also 12. You know, so like, this is a little strange. And Diana Bunia is like, this is just a made up. This is just a joke. And I was like, well, I don't know, but the tunes are really cool. and they're very, not just they're very cool, but they make my little Jewish Yiddish ears prick up and say, ooh, you're interesting. I know that you have something to say about Jewish music in these tunes. And we went and we talked to him, and we weren't able to have a conversation with him. He's in his 80s now. We weren't really able to have a conversation with him legitimately sort of about these tunes, but when I sang the tunes for him, he was like, he would finish them for me. Like, he knew them. He knew these tunes. These very old tunes, and I think that these were tunes from his family, and that his family were a bunch of Roma, Gypsy, Lautar, who played for the Jews in Orhei. There's a very big Jewish population there, and I think that this was the Roma for them. And so somehow these tunes made it into these books, and when I say you need the outsider's perspective, you know, the people in Moldova were like, you can't take him seriously at all. And I take your point. He'd worked the system, and he was probably a pretty nasty person. On the other hand, here's this repertoire. So I have to take this repertoire serious because I do think it's important. So also, this one is not one of the Jewishy tunes. This is just another super cool tune that I really like, that I don't get to play in any other context, so I'm going to play it for you here. This is called Batuta Cu Strigaturi. So this is a batuta, and it's a very fast Romanian dance, and strigaturi is the it's like spoken word poetry for, you know, Romanian dance music. or shouted word poetry, actually. But it's like, you know, you make up, you know, see Clara over in the back, she's hiding behind the, you know, like, when's she gonna get married, you know? And there's Joe over there, like, he's just looking to get another drink, you know, like, everybody dance together, you know. That's what it's all about, you know. It's like, it's a way to sort of gently poke fun at all of your neighbors and friends and sort of say things that you wouldn't normally be able to say, you know. And this tune, once I started playing it, I just couldn't stop for like 2 years. So let's see if I can get out of it here. jolly little tune. It's so much fun to play.